we go. Well, greetings. We are all goof people. Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discos, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. And this is Midnight Metal episode 40 fucking 4. And you know what? It's fucking metal. And you know what? It would not be fucking metal if I did not have my most metal cohort, my partner in crime. How are you tonight?
I am well, Robert. It's great to see you. It's Midnight Metal, Robert. It's Midnight Metal.
Okay. It's Midnight Metal, but hang on. We're the first. I mean, no, if you were on the East Coast, you're on the East Coast. I would be remiss to not mention it is now 9/11. And it is the 20th anniversary of the destruction of the Twin Towers. And not to be, I don't want to be maudlin, but I feel it's very important if we should mention this. And I will say why, because I know exactly where I was. The most scared I have ever been in my life was at about 9 a.m. Pacific time on 9/11. I was terrified. I've never been that scared in my life, ever. And why was I scared? Because so Dave Parker and I and Carrie David were producing our first special features for home video. And we had made some great documentaries for The Usual Suspects. So people understand what you had to do. We created those in a computer, but at the time, 20 years ago, they had to be put on tape, so the tapes could be ingested and digitized and all that. It's not like it was today. There was still a lot of analog work to be done. So what we had to do was to deliver to MGM Home Video, we had to deliver 6 tapes, and each tape had basically an hour and 45 minutes of special features on the tapes, and we had to deliver 3 sets of 2. So we had to deliver 3 sets of all of our work lined up on a tape, and then we had to deliver a second set that had textless work. So textless means they didn't have titles, no English, and all the subtitles would be left off, so they could be added by a foreign company. So my job on September 10th, we delivered on the 11th. I was sitting in a room delivering tapes and hitting record and laying back all of our Dave Parker and Carrie David's documentary material and laying it back to tape. So every, say, let's call it 1 hour and 45 minutes, a tape would come out, I'd put another one in and lay it back and hit record. So I had to do that 6 times. So 6 times 1 hour and 45 minutes. And so the edit bay I was at was a place called Midtown Edit. It was at the Beverly Connection, where there was a movie theater, and there was also a Circuit City. and they were remodeling the Circuit City. And the workers started at like 6 in the morning Pacific time, so 9 a.m. on the East Coast. So I get up. I wake up every hour and 45 minutes, and I look outside like the sun was coming up, and all the dudes that were remodeling the Circuit City are just standing there transfixed. And they're looking at television screens. I'm like, I had no idea. Like, it was odd. Like, I don't know. I probably put in another tape to get laid back. And I walk out there. I walk out to these dudes, and they're all like Mexican day workers. And they were great at what they did. They were remodeling the shop, and none of them even were paying attention to me. I'm like, what are you looking at? And I finally look at the banks of TVs at a Circuit City. There must be 12 screens. And there was no HD then. It was 2001.
Right.
And it was just regular TVs. And I look, and I'm looking at the first of the Twin Towers is smoking. And no one knew what happened. You know, at the time when I was watching, and my timeline might be a little off, but no one knew what was going on. Like, oh my God, a small plane hit the... Nobody knew. And I was standing there watching with these guys, and I saw the second plane hit a tower in live right when it happened. And for me, I knew at that moment we were under attack. And I was fucking terrified. In my life, I mean, I've read books about all kinds of conspiracy theories and international. I'd read Red Storm Rising, Tom Clancy, World War III, and all this. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, he had already written a book called Debt of Honor. And at the end of that book, it was a Jack Ryan novel. At the end of Debt of Honor, which came out before 9/11, the president was addressing Congress in the Capitol, and Japanese terrorists crash a commercial plane into the Capitol while the president is addressing Congress, killing them all. And the only person left in terms of succession is Jack Ryan, and he ascends to the role of the president in executive orders. And I was watching in my life, I'd read a book that already presupposed this, and I watched the second plane crash into the towers, and I knew we were under attack. And I was fucking terrified. And now I ask you, as a New Yorker, as somebody who was there on that day, what was it like to be at Ground Zero in New York City on September 11th?
Well, Robert, I grew up in Queens, for those of you who don't know. And as many of you know, the events took place in Manhattan, but it was impossible to ignore what was going on. And for the most part, that morning started off like every other morning. You know, I woke up, I was a teacher at the time, at a school called Queens Technical and Vocational High School. And from that school, the windows, you can actually see the Twin Towers, but it's in Queens. It's across the water. And I wasn't sure whether I needed to report in because I was still working out details with the union. And it's pretty common, you know, like I was just starting out being a teacher, but, you know, things seemed very optimistic that morning, and it was a beautiful morning. And I remember my mother going off to work and my father driving her in. And I turned on the television, just the normal, you know, Channel 2 news or regular news. And oftentimes on the television, they would be broadcasting and they'd show you photos of New York or, you know, the bridge, and, you know, they do traffic and weather. And in this one particular case, this one channel showed the Twin Towers. And the moment that they showed the Twin Towers was also at the moment that one of the Twin Towers was struck. So, you know, watching it, you're completely unaware of what's going on. Like you're wondering what on earth is happening. And the level of confusion and chaos of that day was just, you know, off the charts. There were a lot of phone calls calling people. You know, most people didn't have cell phones then. And you were just calling people back and forth, trying to reach loved ones to make sure that they were fine. So it was very chaotic and it was terrifying, and we still just didn't know what was going on. And there was so much speculation about what had happened. Was it a fire? Was it, at some sort of explosion? What happened? And some people, there actually were a lot of reporters who were in that area on any given day. And there was one reporter group that were making a documentary on the buildings themselves that very day. And they had recorded what had happened. And there was still very much disbelief. No one wanted to believe. It's not that they were skeptical. It's just that they didn't want to believe that anybody could do such a horrible thing that could result in the deaths of so many people. I still am, very upset about it. And, even though it's 20 years ago, I was in my 20s when this happened. And so now everybody knows how old I am. Yes. But I will never forget how shocked and horrified and fearful about what was going to happen next. I lived near JFK at the time. I still live near JFK. And, all of a sudden, what would normally be tons of flights in the course of a day, there was no air traffic. And then the next thing you know, there were no subways for people to leave Manhattan. My brother, who told me that, or at least at the time, he was working in Manhattan, and he had to kind of rush out of there. And he spoke about the chaos that ensued and how all of the first responders, all the firemen, all the police officers were rushing downtown to help people, in just every single person who worked for the department was going down there, and they didn't even think twice. Like, this was something that they were going to rush to and were going to respond. And the stories are true of these men and women who ran down to that site and eagerly wanted to go ahead and assist people. And my brother was trying to get out of Manhattan, and he kind of told some story about his car was locked up in a you have to park your car in a parking lot. So it was parked in a parking garage, and the parking garage person wouldn't give him the keys. And he actually walked behind the barrier, got his keys, and drove his car out just to get out of there. But he said it was just so panicky. You could smell the explosion after it happened. And for some reason, I became very panicky because my mother works in Queens as well. And I thought, does my father even know? Because this was not a time where people had phones and you got reports every 5 minutes. There were a lot of people who were on the road who were unaware of what was going on. And
right, they didn't know.
Yeah, it seems very hard to imagine this. I'm sure that there were people who were traveling or in transit, no matter where they were. They just didn't know what was going on. And so I thought, my father, is he going to pick up, where is he? He just dropped my mother off, but does he even understand what's going on? And so that was something that was very fearful. And then getting on the phone with family and loved ones just to make sure everybody was at home and safe. And fortunately, my family was safe, but we wondered what was going to happen next, because you kept hearing things and you kept thinking that they were rumors and that they weren't true, but you couldn't deny what you were seeing on the television. And it was frightening to see what you were seeing on the television. You wanted to turn it off, but you almost couldn't turn off the television because, my mother was like, we have to know what's going on. And I said, I don't know whether I can watch any more of this. It was like the worst event really of our lives, Robert. I mean, you and I were in our 20s, and to experience something like this, to even have to even explain it to someone, is incredibly painful. And it's just really one of the saddest things that we've ever witnessed.
I'm right there with you. I mean, I was married at the time, and the disc I was working on was the most important thing. It was my company, and it never occurred to me. I'm staying up all night to deliver our documentaries to MGM for The Usual Suspects. And when I was watching, what was the thing that freaked me out the most was that airplanes and the Twin Towers were representations of civilization, human aspiration. I mean, we needed to understand science and mathematics, and there was so much. And I had been on the top of the Twin Towers. I had a picture of my sister and I in 1990, the first time I went to New York, my grandmother was from New York, and she was so appalled we'd never been there. God rest her soul. She was like, well, I'm going to send you guys to New York. I'm going to put you up in great hotels, and I'm going to send you to Broadway, and you're going to see a show. We saw City of Angels, and it was amazing. I mean, we had... it wasn't unlimited. Like, we're not going to the... Daddy can't go into the backstage or the cocaine dens at the great clubs in New York. That was not what we were about. But my grandmother took very good care of us. We had a great time. And I loved New York. And we went, I have pictures of me and my sister outside on the top of the Trade Center. And what people don't know, if you've never been to New York, those fucking buildings were huge. I mean, it wasn't just the footprints. I mean, these buildings were fucking ginormous. Now, I grew up in Seattle, and I've been to LA, but I'd never been to New York before. 1990, 31 years ago. And I sat in there was a courtyard there between the buildings, and there was a globe. And it was so fucking gigantic. And when I saw it, I felt like my first impression being in New York at the Trade Center was, this is the fucking future, man. This is it, man. This is standing here. This is what humanity aspires to be. I'm like, my God. Because the mathematics, the technology, everything mankind had aspired to be was exemplified in the Twin Towers. It was amazing. And I can't explain what it was like. I have a picture of me. You can't tell because there's no scale. Where I'm just like, my sister took a picture of me. And I told her, I'm like, this is amazing. And when you went there, you felt like you were the only person that ever went there. Like, you walked in there and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. As if not every single New Yorker thought that very same thing. But I had never been there before. So, like all Americans, it was just about me. And when I got there, I'm like, this shit is the dopest fucking shit I've ever seen. This building. And you look up, and at that time, my sister and I could go up to windows on the world, but they let us up on the roof.
Yeah.
The roof. And my experience of the Twin Towers was the King Kong movie poster where King Kong was straddling both towers, which we all know couldn't happen, and he's grabbing F-111s or whatever out of the sky. But to stand out there on the roof, and I felt like it was like Coruscant. It was like the Phantom Menace hadn't come out 20 years later. This was fucking next level shit. I'm like, and it was so funny. I felt like for the very first time, I was the first human being to stand on the roof of the Twin Towers and think, this fucking rules. As if I was the first person to ever think that. Not knowing that every 5 minutes some other person came out and thought the same thing. But I cannot impart to people how and this, I'm a tourist. You could just roll down to downtown and do whatever you want with the Twin Towers.
And I did, and I met many guys there through the years dating.
Well, I bet you did.
And
digging.
One of the things it's true. It was sort of a place that I could say, let's meet at the Twin Towers. And they always had events going on in that plaza area. They had salsa dancing. They had all sorts of incredible events going on. And it was the type of building that was 100 stories, but you could walk all the way up to the side of it and touch the building.
Oh, yeah.
That's very rare. Like, a lot of other buildings have different shape, but this one you could literally touch the building and look up the entire height. And I'm sure you did that when you came to New York.
Oh, dude, I got pictures of me doing that exact thing.
Yes.
You couldn't, because you couldn't. People that you can't impart just how fucking big those buildings were. I mean, they I have never ever seen a photograph that was like what I was like when I sat in the courtyard and looked up.
Yeah,
No,
and
there's no, because it's always too far away. They don't.
a photograph can't capture the actual space and area that even just one of the buildings took up, because there were two buildings and they were kind of side by side, but they were kind of like on an angle to one another. So rather than, they were sort of like on this angle. I can't remember what it's called, but inside of the building, when you go into the lobby, it's all open, and you start to realize how expansive and how big the
Oh,
building
yeah,
is. Because,
yeah,
it's like looking at an entire city block, but you're inside of a building. And in the lower level, there's a subway. There was the subway. There were stores, which I spent a lot of time down there and hanging out with my friends, kind of exploring New York and just enjoying it. And then when my cousin came from Great Britain in 1994, we took him, he and his mother, my Aunt Jacqueline, to the top to the observatory, and it was just at dusk, or yeah, the sun was setting, sorry, and the sun was setting, and it was absolutely beautiful. The view of all of Manhattan was just breathtaking, Robert, and it was just something that made you feel very optimistic. It made you feel like anything was possible, and you realize that the vision of whoever built these buildings, it's true that there was a lot of financial basis in it, but it was also a vision to look towards the future in a
yeah,
positive way.
yeah. I think
And mhm.
no, I think you absolutely just pointed out um, something that is forgotten in all of this is that, and here's what really bothered me: the Twin Towers represented the pinnacle of human knowledge. It required knowledge of physics and architecture and design. There were so many disciplines that, by the way, had been developed over, let's face it, thousands of years. And it wasn't just a bunch of like, I just graduated from Harvard, let's build the Twin Towers. It wasn't like that.
No.
It was men that had come up with how to build something like this for a century, almost. And the thing that freaked me out the most, my greatest fear in life, is the loss of civility. The idea that your house is no longer yours. Maybe it's because I'm a Jew, but we had that happen. Jews had the government in Germany say, you know what? This house that you and your family have occupied for 250 years, not yours anymore. You got to get out. I mean, I didn't live through that, but I've heard it so many times. And to me, that's my great fear, is the government become fascistic and tell you your property is not yours. We're a collectivist society. It belongs to the masses. I'm like, fuck you. The masses suck. They're lazy motherfuckers. That's what I would say. But on 9/11, I was fucked up, man. I went home, I laid back my documentaries. I'm like, I couldn't even take them to the studio.
Yeah.
And I went home and I'm like, am I fired? What's going on? And my wife was there and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And she's like, I don't know. No one knows.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, babe, that's all I need to know. No one knows. But
Yeah.
it was still the scariest shit I've ever seen in my life.
It was terrifying, and we all kind of wondered. As I said before, we kept hearing reports, because the news wasn't the way it is now, where we had YouTube and we had phones where we could tell people what was going on that way. If you had a cell phone, you were kind of lucky to have one, and.
Yeah.
So if something was happening in another state, it was very hard to find that out. You'd have to use a landline phone. And that day, landline phones, they were jammed. You couldn't make calls. You couldn't make cell phone calls. A lot of the cell phone antenna were on top of the World Trade Center. And so,
They
it was a
were.
different time. Yeah, it was a different time. Even the news channels could not broadcast after the buildings fell because there was only one left, I think, downtown at the Empire State Building. But what I wanted to say in regards to this was that, we heard stories about what had happened in Washington, let's say at the Pentagon, and we heard something about Pennsylvania. And I'm not going to say there were a whole bunch of rumors, but
But
people
there
were more,
were, no, there were.
yeah, the people, and I think we were a little more skeptical back then, Robert, right? In what we might believe, because we didn't have the video that we have now where we can see things that happen in a moment's notice. We
True.
just didn't have that. And so a lot of our news came from the newspaper, or we watched, the news on television, see, even CNN, or something like that, which was at the time, CNN was considered very groundbreaking and different for, being able to get news right away to people. But despite that, even they
I had to
could
get
not.
candy.
Yes, even despite CNN sort of being on top of things, even they could not get all of the facts of what was going on.
No.
And there was disbelief. Like, for example, I finally, by the time I reached some other friends of mine just to check on them, because I knew that they worked in the area, I spoke to them and asked them, what was going on. And there were still some people who had not been fully aware of what had happened. And that also was very shocking because, it's not that I doubted them. I just realized that how limited we were in getting out information to people in an emergency,
Yeah.
situation. We just didn't have the ability to. There was no other way to tell people. And you, just like what you said, you were in Circuit City watching what was going on. Hundreds of people were doing that. People didn't have big screen TVs back then. We had, you were lucky if you had would you have, like a 27-inch tube TV, Robert?
Oh yeah, no, no. Actually, at the time, believe it or not, I did have a widescreen. I had a big, but it was a rear projection TV. I did have that, and
Right,
but it was still like it wasn't something I used it only to watch movies.
right.
It was not something that I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch TV. No, I just watched films. That's it.
For, so you use it for screening movies for work, I guess,
or
essentially.
or,
And
or, or pleasure. I mean, it was
yes.
my wife and I at the time. My ex-wife, she and I watched a lot of films, and so what was, um, I was to be honest, I was terrified. I
Mhm.
was terrified at 9/11 because I've said on the show many times, my biggest fear in life is the loss of civility. Meaning All right. Well, okay. Perhaps I'm actually in the wrong. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Like we're here. Um, I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening right now. I'm just trying. I just want to talk on the internet. So, I actually went off on a huge diatribe about where I was at as far as 9/11 is concerned, and now I'm in an entirely different place. I'm not even in the Midnighter. I'm gonna get back if I can. Who knows? Can I? I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna send her a link, and maybe if she can come here, all of you can come here. I don't know. I don't even know what happened. I had an epic 9/11 rant, an epic 9/11 rant, and apparently it was lost to the sands of time. Anyway, so I am going to ask to come back. Um, so we shall. You know what? I'm so unbelievably frustrated right now. If Rita comes back, comes back, maybe I'll stay on the stream. I don't even. I have no idea where I'm at. No idea. So hopefully, maybe will come back. But anyway, it's not set up for that. The whole stream, I don't know what happened. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm upset. I had a whole 9/11 thing going on. What do you guys think? You know what? I'm just going to throw it up into you because, by God, if you want to come on this show with everything that's going on, please do so. I'm going to put the chat, whatever. If you want to come on the show, just send me your info because here it is. Come on the show right now. What? Hang on. Okay. It's in the live chat. You want to come on the show? I'll bring you on because, by God, I'm so. Oh, anyway. Oh, wait. Hang on. Who's here? Russ Whitfield. Russ. I was going to bring you on before. Can you hear me? Oh, hang on. Wait. Hold on. Russ, can you hear me? Oh, my God. You sound great. We got Pat Finch. Pat. Oh, I don't know. You're upside down, but okay. All right. Wow, Pat, I haven't seen you in a while, but my God, hang on, gents. This might take a minute, yo. I have to set up the whole thing again. So, kids, bear with me. Watch me like ramble on as I bring on guests. I can't believe my co-host is gone. It's gone. She's gone. I just don't know what to say. But you know what? Don't know what happened. I've stayed here, tried to make it work. Pat, I'm gonna put you. Give me where are you gonna be? Where are you gonna sit, man? Sit down. Show me what your camera angle is gonna be. Not yet. I do not have you yet, Pat. Hang on. Just Pat. Wait, Grant. Just hold on a minute. No, you're sideways, but that's okay. But yeah, there you go. There you go. Just stay there. Don't move. Don't. No, hang on. I'm gonna move you. All right, I'm gonna put Grant. Grant, I'm putting you in. You know what I'm doing? I'm trying to make the best of a bad situation. I'm gonna add. Okay, well, sure. That's good. Just stay right there. Stay right there. Wow, Grant. You know what? I lost Grant. I lost count. We got Elvis 5. How are you, sir? Boy, you look familiar. Just hang on a second. Hang on, Elvis 5. Let me put you in, sir. By the way, this is the most ridiculous. I mean, but now you guys, man, this could be actually a really good conversation. I am gonna make this happen. Hold on, allow me. I'm gonna put you guys in, and just everyone know that all these gentlemen. By the way, we've got Pat Finch in the right square. We got Elvis 5. Don't listen to those. I'm going to change those names. Gentlemen, you've made me not like abandon this stream. I was going to leave. I'm like out. But because I have both of you, thank God you're here. I laugh all you want. I just want you to know that I was ready to bail. I was so frustrated. I'm like, fuck all this shit. So anyway, I'm now going to put your names on the thing. Call it what you want. So I would ask you, gents, where you at tonight? How you guys feeling?
Well, for starters, Rob, we just talked not too long ago. We were together at the Yard House. I don't know if
We were, and I wasn't gonna say anything. I would ask you to I don't I didn't want to speak for you, but it was great to meet you and your beautiful lady. 4 years together. My God.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I have to say the two of
Appreciate
them,
it.
you guys are a great couple. Now, let me ask you this. Did you go to a movie tonight?
We didn't, but I'll tell you the last movie we watched together. It was Shang-Chi, and by God, was it fucking incredible.
Fucking incredible, right? I'm with you 100%.
Shit out of that film. Yeah, that was the last one we watched together.
And so, what did you guys think of that? Like, why was Shang-Chi so good for you?
I think it was good for a number of reasons. Specifically for me, in my opinion, I just really loved the family aspect of it. I didn't think they were going to go that dark with the film, but I really just thought it was going to be a kung fu film with some amazing action, with some amazing choreography, with just, just some homage to just Hong Kong kung fu, just an homage to just martial arts in general. And then when we got that family aspect, it kind of hit me like a truck. I was not expecting that. I think that was one of the main reasons why I really loved the film.
I'm right there with you. Pat, have you seen Shang-Chi?
No, I have not seen Shang-Chi. The last film I saw in the theaters was prior to me coming down. So I'm actually, I've switched locations. Basically, I'm from Maryland. You saw my room and all that. I am actually now back in college. I'm living on campus. My roommate is back home.
All right, bruh. What college, what campus, where are you at, Pat?
So I am currently studying at George Mason University. I'm in their townhouses. I've customized my room. I got some cool posters and all that. I did buy like one poster. No, actually ordered two. But basically, I got this really cool poster. I got the Beatles.
Nice.
With the Beatles. Then I got this cool...
From Russia, with love, I cry to you, much wiser, since my goodbyes to you. I've traveled the world. I know, to learn I must return from Russia with love. I've seen places, faces, a smile. Anyway, I can't even go on. I mean, this is not karaoke, Pat. But so anyway, But we were doing good, man. I thought that was pretty great. That's what Midnight Metal's all about. If you want to sing James Bond theme songs, I'm right there with you. He has a powerful weapon. He charges 1,000,000 a shot. An assassin who's second to none. The man with the golden gun.
Fun fact about that movie.
Another shot means another poor victim.
You know
has
that,
come to a glittering end. Yeah, what? Sorry.
That's Roger Moore's second Bond film.
Yes.
And the villain who plays in it is
Scaramanga.
Who's
Francisco Scaramanga.
Who's the actor, though?
Christopher Lee, bruh. Come on, dude.
I know.
Saruman. I know you're young. But us
I know
old
who
geezers,
Christopher Reeve is.
I shit Bond villains. Come on now.
Another fun fact about Christopher Reeve, he was in metal. He has a metal Christmas album.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He killed people with his bare hands.
Yes.
You know, like Joe K in this chat's like, is Rob singing in drag? Do I look like I'm in drag? Look, I am wearing a shirt that was brought to me by a member of the Post-Geek Singularity community. Thank you. Sonny Dominguez brought this shirt to me. I am literally the most important person in your universe, at least at 1:08 in the morning. Right? We're still broadcasting live. So Elvis. So I got to meet you tonight. We talked, we chatted. You proposed or what? What's up?
Not yet.
Come on, dude. 4 years?
There's some groundwork that needs to be laid. I know that 4 years.
You haven't done it in 4 years? I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Surprisingly, I haven't. It's
Have you? Wait. Have you looked at this girl? Like, have you really looked at her? I mean, come on, man. Like, not as a lascivious old man.
I know. Yeah.
I say this from an empirical, like, I appreciate art.
Yes.
Come on.
She's gorgeous. She's beautiful.
You got to marry that girl.
She's definitely the one I've got to marry for sure. 100%.
Yeah. So what are you waiting for? Why not get into it? Do you know what'd be great? Kids. Multi-ethnic children. You will create great genetic bonds that the rest. You know what? Your great-great-great-great-grandchildren might be belters in the expanse, and they might change the universe. You never know.
You know what? Talking about the expanse, that last season was fucking incredible.
I know.
It was fucking good. And you know what's crazy? When I first saw Shang-Chi, I thought that the guy with the fucking machete hand was Amos. I thought that was him for a second.
You know what? He pretty much was, but you're right about that. He totally kind of was that guy.
Is that Amos? But then I realized it's the guy from Creed 2.
Yep.
He's the Russian son.
Yep. He's
the boxer, right?
Ivan Drago's son.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I was like,
I must break you. I know. It's great stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to my girl, she's incredible, and for sure there's gonna be a ring coming soon. I don't know when, but it's coming soon.
Okay, let's pin you down. What does soon mean? A month, 2 months, 5 months? I'm gonna call our parents up and be like, Elvis says he's admitted this on a live stream. When is that ring coming?
I definitely say it's soon. I don't have like an exact date, but it's soon.
You young people, just commit, man. I'll give you an exact date. Halloween. Come on, October 31st.
You know what's funny, Rob? Her birthday is in October.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So that would be perfect.
You're wearing an orange hat. Come on, man. You're already there. I'm thinking Halloween. Marry that girl. We'll come. I'll promote it on YouTube. I'll be like, Elvis and his lady are having a Halloween birthday party. Everyone, all you Post-Geek Singularity members, come to his house.
I'll do it if it's John Carpenter themed.
Oh my God! You think I won't call him up?
Yeah, that's what I said. Halloween, Halloween.
I'll do it if
Dude,
it's John Carpenter themed.
I will call. I will use my proxies to get in touch with Sandy King, his wife, or John Carpenter. If you're gonna get married in Halloween, come on, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
John Carpenter's got. I mean, he'll probably look on Halloween Day. He's gonna be playing at like the Palladium and some
Well,
shit.
yeah. We'll have the Thing at the bar. We'll have Michael Myers as the ring bearer.
Oh my God, I'm so in. By the way, I'm in. But you know what you have to do first? You have to
Tell me what's up.
propose
Whatever
to
you gotta do.
her. You have to
Yep.
propose to her. She doesn't know. She doesn't
Yep.
know. She loves you. I mean, she looks at you with these longing puppy dog eyes of an exotic girl that her beauty transcends time, and you're like, maybe we'll get married. I don't know. Bruh.
Yeah. Hey, so when it comes to proposing, like, how do you feel about proposing? Do you think it has to be grand, special?
No.
You
No.
has to be
No.
grand,
No.
or do you think it has to be simple?
Hey Rob, can I add something about marriage? And you talked
Please,
about proposing.
please throw it in there,
I'm
Pat.
actually, my brother. I have two older brothers. Mentioned this in past times I've been on the show. My oldest brother is actually getting married in October, around the
Congratulations.
same. Yes. So, and I'm the best man. So,
Are you throwing the bachelor party? Are you gonna
we
hit
already
just
have
mountains of cocaine and hookers and ecstasy and like
well, I offered that. I did offer that, but he went a completely different, mundane route,
oh
which
well.
I'm kind of annoyed. But basically, he called his one of his friends who owns a house, family house that they inherited, that's passed on to the family. It's basically by the Chesapeake Bay.
Are they gonna burn it down for fun and make it a bachelor party to remember?
Yeah, well, it already happened. The bachelor party already happened.
Shit! So they didn't burn the house down.
No, they didn't.
They didn't go talking heads on that house.
No, they did not.
That's a bummer.
They brought a bunch of liquor, and they're drinking a bunch of liquor, and then apparently
I didn't even know her.
And heard a bunch of cool stories. So apparently, I did not know this, but one of my brother's friends in college told us this fun story. So he's a trademark lawyer. And one of his clients is the owner of the trademark for Tales of the Crypt.
That's cool.
And basically, he got free beer because there was because the owners of Tales of the Crypt, so the Tales of the Crypt, the comic book series, the show and all that, the people that own the rights to that, who supposedly are descendants of the founders of DC Comics somehow. But anyway, so he got free beer because of a cease and desist letter, because this brewery was selling Tales of the Crypt themed beers.
Well, which is crazy. Now, Pat, that's amazing. Now let me just say something. I have a co-host on the show. I have that I can't get back. So would you allow me to try? And now that we've heard this story, which is a great story, and I love hearing the stories, I am going to disconnect you, and I'm hoping that the lovely is waiting in the wings to come back on the show, because I kicked her out. She's gone. Oh my God, she's back. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Hold on. Let me get my lovely back into the show. I mean, this is the craziest night of Midnight Metal. I don't even know what to say.
Hello.
I know, right? Hang on. I'm gonna put her back in the stream. I you know, if I don't have on my Friday, I feel like I can't live with myself. Hang on, hold on. Oh, she's mad. She's back. Oh my God, there's she's not Pat Finch, but give me a moment. I'm going to change that. I don't know what happened tonight with stream. I don't know. I'm at the mercy of technology. Thank God you're here. It's so good to have you back. Let me just change this to your name.
Yes.
So I just want you to know, Elvis. I at the Yard House, Elvis and I chatted for a long time.
Wow.
But as everyone left to go see Tango Shalom, everyone else Elvis stayed around.
Ooh.
Yeah, we had a nice chat, and I think we one of the things that we talked about was he got to meet my lovely lady, and he was on my butt about getting her, and proposing to her, and finally making it official.
I was kind of
And
like first of all, okay, here's the thing. They've been together for 4 years, and if you saw this girl, like, I'm not saying I don't want to be superficial, but it wasn't that she's just beautiful. She's just looking longingly at Elvis, just looking and going, "Oh my God, I love you so much." And I was like, "Bruh, dude, I mean, take her home. What's up?"
and you know what? She must love us because me and Rob were geeking the fuck out,
Oh my
and
God!
and
So,
like
tell the audience how much we were geeking the fuck out.
yeah, we were geeking the fuck out. So my girl must love me because she sat there through the whole thing. And you know what? She was very attentive. She was very nice about it. She didn't get on
She
my
was.
ass or pull me and be like, get out of here already.
No, because even I was ready to pull myself and being like, slap me in the face and going, "Shut the fuck up! Why are you talking about this shit? People will hate you." But you know what?
Yeah.
You were a kindred
No, but you
spirit.
know what? And then eventually she kind of got invested in the conversation, and she jumped in, and her and Rob had a good time talking about, believe it or not, uh, pimples of all things.
Oh my God! Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they
So
were
we
talking
we
about this
started
YouTube
talking about our
video.
love of black hat extraction videos on YouTube. Because who doesn't like those? Everyone does.
Yeah,
Everyone does.
it was an interesting conversation, but I'd love to get a woman's perspective on it. Do you think that proposing to her after 4 years is a little too early? Do you think I should take my time? What's your position on it?
Oh, Rita.
My,
Sorry, you got
okay.
you got to answer this
You
question.
gotta bestow this wisdom on me.
Well, Elvis, I must say that you're a lovely person,
Appreciate
and
that.
I can see why she would want to be with someone like you.
Oh, thank you.
And you're welcome. Go for it, because what I've seen over the past few years of sometimes when people hesitate and they think they have tomorrow and they don't, they have regrets for this reason. And
Yeah,
to be on the safe side, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But don't let her go, because you don't want to lose what you have. It's so hard to make that connection with
yeah,
someone. And from what Robert has described and what you've described, she sounds like such a lovely lady. Marry
yeah,
her, enjoy your life, have a wonderful time, enjoy the experience, have all those wonderful things, and go to those different places that you want to do. Have all those
yeah,
great things together, and do
yeah.
it together. You're obviously been thinking about this, haven't you, Elvis?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, who doesn't? I think that's one of the things that you meet an incredible person, and you just right off the bat that that connection is rare, and you have that even through all the bullshit that is life, you try and make it work. I mean, it's not perfect, and we all know that. We all have our bumps on the road, and we try to get past that, and really just pursue happiness. And I think with her, I have that, and I know that I have that, and I have to be more gracious about it and realize, that it's there. And before it's too late, like you said, life is too short, and you never know. You just never know in those situations, for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Well, I mean, I would say that having met you guys tonight. By the way, thank you for coming down and introducing yourself to me. It was really special. So thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course.
And that meant a lot to me. I mean, everyone who came out, I was surprised. I thought, Sonny Dominguez brought his friends down. They came out, and Brett Pierce and his dad show up, and you showed up. It was
Yeah,
it turned out to be a pretty great crowd, and it meant a lot. I mean, I'm now getting people have sent me emails like, it is what it is. It's funny
yeah.
because people are like, oh, Rob's the horror sci-fi guy. I'm like, yeah, but this movie is not that.
No, and
And
and you know what, Rob, you definitely made an impact on my girl. Like, she had no idea who you are. Obviously, she was getting, I guess you can say, like, the introduction through me
sure,
when we talked, and and she even on the ride home, she was like, "Hey, I actually kind of want to watch that film that guy was talking about. Like, I really want to watch that movie he was talking about."
Wow. Well,
And
then I won.
if
I win.
if that's not an impact, then I don't know what is.
Dude, on this planet, if you make an impact and someone says, I want to watch that dude's film, that's an epic win. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I need you in the next 2 days to go to the theater and see it. Like,
oh yeah,
and bring all your friends. Pay for tickets.
There. I definitely support indie filmmaking, and I'm there for the indies, man. For
so
sure,
come,
100%.
bring your. You know what? Just understand it's a little borscht belt. The first 20 minutes is a little goofy, but
but who doesn't love Goofy though?
Well, it's goofy if you're like 1958, but it's fine. It's fine.
1958.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the goofy. I'm proud of the old goofiness, but it is what it is, and I stand by it. I mean, obviously it's come out. I'm very proud of it, but what we need is people to go see the movie this weekend. Yeah, because it's open and I'm like with no advertising. We're like we're all like, well, come see my movie. I might as well have a tricycle on 42nd Street. Like, hello, come see Tango Shalom. It's playing at the Empire 25. Come see it. I worked on it for a very long time alone, but I'm a clown now. Here's a ticket. That's basically where we're at, but that's all right.
No, and I think the one thing that really got me with wanting to watch that film though is just the cultural aspect of it. I mean, we talked about it at our house, man. We talked about how you made this film over 5 years. 5 years ago, like culture of any kind, doesn't matter what type of culture, was just starting to come to the limelight, and people were starting to recognize it.
Yes,
and I think that this film really brings that Jewish culture to the limelight, and I think that's important, just like something like we talked about Shang-Chi, bringing that Asian Chinese culture to the limelight, Black Panther,
totally agree,
bringing that African, Black community to the limelight. I think these films are important, man, and we need that. And Tango Shalom definitely it takes that to it. It takes its place in that. You got to bring that culture out. We got to see it.
I very much appreciate you saying that, because that's exactly what the film really is. I mean, it really is that. I mean, that's what it is in fact about. So
not every day, does a Jewish man decide he wants to, join a dance competition, but he can't touch the woman. Like, that's an interesting concept. Like,
like that guy. That guy, he doesn't have his head screwed on. Like, it'd be like, I want to be an astronaut, but I don't want to wear a spacesuit. All right.
But you see, not a lot of people know about the Jewish community and their values and what it is that they can and can't do. And that film, even though it's goofy and there's sort of craziness to it, it still brings that kind of sort of thing to the limelight, and you see that.
Very much. I appreciate you saying that.
And it is the high holy days.
Yes. Yeah. And I trust me when I tell you that it's a film that whether or not like people go to see it, at least for me, I'm gonna go get my friends, my family, everybody to go check out the film. Sure,
God bless you. Even if they don't go, just have them buy tickets online. Don't worry about it. If you can show up
to it, they'll go.
Thank you.
The good part about my family, we come from a movie family. We all love film, and we all do it together, and it's just something that brings us together. We
bring your whole family and all your extended family and everyone you've ever met.
So Elvis, is your fiance watching the show right now?
No, she's asleep.
Okay, so she'll be surprised if you decide to propose to her.
She'll be very surprised. I mean, yes and no. She's gonna be like, yeah, that bastard would get on the show and talk some shit with Rob.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Meeting you guys and your girlfriend, and I'm like, I just speak from an empirical standpoint. Like I'm looking at it all in the long run.
From the outside perspective.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, marry that girl. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, spoon
Rob,
with that girl for the rest of your life. That's all I'm saying.
and trust me, I'm getting there, and you know what? Like,
I'm getting there. Like where are you? Halfway across the Aleutian Islands? Come on, dude.
if I had to put a percentage on it, I'm 70% of the way there because
What?
the one thing I do, Rob, we live
I'm
in
dying.
California.
I got COVID. I'm done. Wait, 70%?
Yeah, because I think if there's one thing that I definitely want to do is I want to get my own place, my own center of gravity with her.
That's
You know,
sensible. All right,
I want to do that before anything. You get me? Like I want to get that going
dude. I
first.
feel you. I do. But you know what?
Yeah,
I seen that shit. Make that commitment, man.
no, I
Yeah.
will.
Hear
Don't
what
let
I'm
her
telling you.
get away.
By
Don't
the
let
way,
her get
I
away.
want to broadcast the
No,
first
I won't.
Post-Geek Singularity wedding.
It's like you said.
Oh.
Look, for me, you don't even have to pay for a
I know you
videographer.
did.
Just sign the release. I'm gonna shoot that shit and live stream it.
I love that idea.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The first Post-Geek Singularity wedding.
I love it.
Elvis and his lady.
No, it's gonna be Halloween themed, man. We already said it. John Carpenter. That's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna have the
Okay.
All
thing
right,
at the
that's
bar.
fine. You know what?
Your man's wearing a shirt.
I'm all about John Carpenter. You know, I'll be Cronenberg, the doctor who
I'll even
injected
have him. Can you
Snake
imagine
Plissken.
him DJing?
Well,
He's a DJ, right?
you know what? You know what? That's not out of the realm of possibility.
He's a DJ, so
I mean, you'll have
I
to
would be
pay
down for that.
Carpenter, maybe, but he might do it. Like, you know, he's got Lost Themes 3 out now. He's the kind of guy
Playing
that
all
he
the-
might be like,
Playing all the score bangers. Come on, who wouldn't want to hear that at a wedding?
dude, and his son Cody, I would, look, if he could play The Prince of Darkness, Big Trouble in Little China, themes,
Oh man.
I mean, I'd be like, come on. But what
I
would
mean-
be difficult would be explain why, like he's probably living in some gated environment in out west, and we'd knock on his door and we're like, Mr. Carpenter, we're doing this live show, and we want to do some themes, some Lost themes, and Lost Themes 2. Will you do it? And he'll be like, bruh, I'm playing NBA 2K. Shut the fuck up. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but you know what? Like speaking of John Carpenter, where is the state of horror right now? Have you seen *Malignant* yet?
I have not. Have you? It's out in theaters. Have you seen *Malignant*?
I saw half of it. I'm going to be doing a review with Black Phillip Alvarez, but from what I've seen so far, I love it.
All right. Well,
So
perhaps.
I want you to pitch it for me because I'm not a huge horror fan. My girl, she is.
Wait till you see what happens when you've been married to your wife for 5 years. You'll know all about horror.
She loves everything horror, everything that and she's the one that kind of like gets me to watch all the old school horror movies. She gets me to watch obviously the new Blumhouse stuff, and she loves horror. So, you gotta convince me on this movie. So
Yes.
I love James Wan. I love James Wan, so that's a plus. I love The Conjuring. So I thought it would
I
be-
leave this up to you.
We're
Take it
talking
away.
about new kinds of horror, okay?
Horror. All right.
Horror, new kinds of horror, similar to movies like The Banquet, similar, looking at transcendental horror. And the idea is that, yes, it's true that we're going to see jump scares. There's a lot of things that we expect in horror, but what about the unexpected realms that we haven't explored yet? And I feel like *Malignant* is one of those films that goes there in areas that perhaps have not been explored. There's so many horror stories that have not been told. And please bring all of those wonderful horror stories to us, because that's what we love. That's what we enjoy. We want to be terrified. We want to be scared. But we also want to be contemplative now, because we want a higher level of horror. And I feel like *Malignant* is going in that direction from what I've seen. So check it out.
Okay, yeah. So
it's a very good endorsement.
So is it, when you talk about that, like the new aspects of horror that it's bringing to the table, other than the jump scares, other than obviously the cliche aspects of horror, I go back to James Wan in specific with The Conjuring, to the clapping game. That was new, innovative. It was something that I had never seen before, and even though it was
Scared
going
the
in
fuck
the
out of me
realm,
too.
dude. Even if it was going in the realm of you knew it was coming, you didn't know where, you just knew it was coming, and I'm someone that like is always bullshitting saying I never get scared watching horror movies. You know, I'm play the macho man, like I'm just watching and jump scares don't get me. Holy shit, did that clapping game fucking get me? And that was brilliant, and that's what I loved about the first Conjuring. So does Malignant bring those new aspects, you know, that James Wan style of horror?
Malignant is not The Conjuring,
Oh,
but I
okay.
think, I mean, like looking at it from
Yeah. Looking at
a
it from that.
concept, it's certainly not. But what I can say is that it forces you to look at the horror within,
Okay.
and things that deeply and
That's what she
intensely
said.
things that deeply and intensely terrify you within your fears, and sometimes your fears can manifest in many different ways, and I think that that's what Malignant is doing.
Okay.
So that's why you need to watch it, and I think it'll mean something to each person, a different thing. Like for me, it means something completely different than another person who may be watching that. And even just the beginning of the story, I'm still like disturbed by, but that's good because that's why we watch these stories. I think that there are a lot of stories that need to be told as well. We need to see some of these stories because for a lot of people, if they heard these stories, they just wouldn't even believe what happened. And now we can see them demonstrated in the best type of way to tell a story, which is in the cinematic realm.
Yeah,
Totally agreed.
I think those stories are important because I look at something like Midsummer, which does it fall in the category of horror? Does it fall in the category of thriller?
Well,
Suspense?
I think it's
What
horror. I do.
I
It's
I look at something like Midsummer where I knew that it was going to be some sort of disturbing horror style film, but I didn't know what to expect from it, you know? And it's
Mhm.
like you said that these stories are important. These stories need to be told. And when I've always been into Viking lore in general, so I already knew about this suicide ritual that they show in the film. I knew about all that stuff, but seeing it live, just seeing the fucking gruesome fucking style of just them just going balls out and showing everything out, I did not expect that. And that's what I love about horror films in general is that I want to see films that really just surprise me
yeah.
and just really just show me the gruesome side of these stories, and I want to see that.
Look, I agree with you 100%. I mean, that's drama. That's what human civilization is all about. Like, why live longer? Well,
Yeah.
you have something to live for. There's somebody you want to meet, somebody you want to talk to. I mean, for me, I'll be like 89 years old and someone says, well, director William Friedkin of To Live and Die in L.A. is coming to the L.A. County Museum. I'm like, I'm like, Mr. Friedkin, I'd be stumbling on the stairs. What was it like, to direct those character actors? I mean, it would, that would be my thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, my God. But, you don't have to worry about likenesses because people get it. If it's redolent of maybe in, Mesopotamia, everyone wants to have, well, we have to have a couch or we have to have a thing. But I'm like, nah, I don't know, man. Everything's alphabetized. It looks pretty fucking good. I'm not going to move it outside. Fuck these people. I've been here for months. Fuck all y'all.
I also think
I got everything alphabetized. Fuck you.
there was an episode of they're going to get me for this of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Where I think it was a Voyager episode where Tuvok meets somebody who kind of wants to challenge him in regards to how far can you go mentally when it comes to horror and terror.
Yeah.
And Tuvok kind of flips the equation on him. Of course, Tuvok.
Not very Vulcan. Come on, you're better than this. Why do you got? You're a punk ass bitch. Come on, Spock.
Well, it was what happened in the story, as many of you who are watching are aware, is that Tuvok challenged this person and said, "What I imagine in my mind is a million times more horrifying than you can ever imagine." And I think that's another indication, Elvis, where we think things can go, because the imagination is endless, and
Except if it comes to Kurtzman and Secret Hideout. The imagination is limited.
Yeah.
It's stunted. You're saying. Go ahead.
But if we're looking at the idea of what the horror that's actually within us and what's terrifying, I mean, for me, you spoke about The Conjuring, and the most recent one, where it says the devil made me do it. Like, that story feels incredibly real to me.
It does, and I think that's what makes The Conjuring so visceral, is that it's possible, right? Like, you've heard these families have passed these stories down about demons and witches and devils, and it feels so close to home. And I think that when I watched The Conjuring, I was like, oh shit, like, I've heard this story before. Like, I've heard similar things like this passed down from my family. So when I'm watching that movie and I'm fucking seeing these people clap it up, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm in for a ride. Oh shit.
It's all good.
Yeah, and I'm excited about *Malignant*. I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm going to, put up the projector, get that good sound system going.
Projector.
Oh, that's
look, you get a hot and bothered. Let me show you my projector, baby. I don't have one, so I cede to Elvis. Come on, Elvis. Show her your projector. The real question is your projector widescreen or is it flat? I want to see some anamorphic goodness. Just
35 millimeters, my friend. Yeah. So, are you guys excited about the future for horror? Like, do you think Blumhouse is the savior?
Yes.
That they are the savior of horror?
I'm very excited.
Would you say that they are the ones putting out quality horror?
Are they behind Last Night in Soho?
No, that's
not, actually.
That's British, but close.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm excited for Last Night in Soho.
Me too.
And I can't tell you how excited I am for it. I've watched the trailer about a bazillion times, and so many things about it that really just make me go crazy is that sense of security that the main character seems to have in the trailer. And then she looks in the mirror, and I love shit like that.
I'm just really excited for Edgar Wright to do horror. What does that look like?
I know, right?
Edgar Wright
looks like Last Night in Soho, and it's not a jump scare. Like, she just calmly looks in the mirror, and I think that we've seen this particular approach many times before, but this is when you've perfected it, and it's done right, and the level of anticipation is high. That's when you get to that point. What do you think, Robert?
I was getting high. No, no, I agree with you. I think that the storyline is very intriguing. Edgar Wright always offers something we love, and I really like what he does with characters. And I think he's milked. This is a concept that was derived out of a comic book, and I think that based on the trailer I watched, I was like, this shit looks dope. Like, I was like, yeah, man. And I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great.
Not just that, I think we're in the golden age of Anna Taylor-Joy. I think that she has just been incredible in everything that she's been in. And I think The Queen's Gambit is one of the greatest fucking television shows that
amazing.
Netflix has ever released. And she's incredible in it. And I'm really just excited for the future, specifically like what she's gonna do, like what project she's gonna tackle. And I just heard that she signed on for that Robert Eggers movie, the Viking one.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
Because I'm probably one of the very few who fucking loved The Lighthouse, and I think
good.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the very few who really enjoyed that movie. I love the weirdness. I love everything about it, and I think that Anna Taylor-Joy is a great addition to that Viking revenge story.
she's a rare talent, and she's captivating on the screen. She's captivating in Last Night in Soho. I mean, she's only appears for maybe 30 seconds in the 30 or 40 seconds.
People would love her as the president of Vegas. That could be so cool. I mean,
she's an incredible actress, and I can't wait to see what she does. Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of other films that sort of like There May Be Werewolves, which was another sort of like a comedy horror. And I kind of, it's not that I'm not satisfied with the level of
I know what you mean.
comedy in it, but I'm trying to figure out if they're going to go even further with comedy and horror in a film. I want to see them push the boundaries to a point where you're like, I can't anymore. I can't.
I mean, if anybody's going to do it, I think it's Edgar Wright, right? I mean, I think an example of that would be Shaun of the Dead, right? Shaun of the Dead pushes those boundaries of horror, comedy, something that, is bonkers in reality. We're talking about a zombie apocalypse where some, two best friends are literally just trying to fucking survive, and the way that they do it is in a way in a hilarious manner, but it still kind of hits home with some of the stuff that happens in that movie,
Yeah, well, at the end when he, realize that he's going to keep his friend alive, sort of like chained up.
That's fucking literally crazy.
I think that was a perfect example of that, and let's see how far. We kind of have seen in the Walking Dead series some of the extremes of that, but I want to see more. So I think the zombie genre could go further, and it's going to take someone creative who has a unique idea to do that. So
I mean, if there's anybody who's gonna do it, I would probably say it's Zack Snyder. I know that's probably controversial, but the man can do zombie films. Like, come on.
No, he can. But the problem with Zack Snyder, and I met him, is that his idea of the story is very rudimentary. So he's telling stories that should have a 60-page script in 25 pages. And so he's not particularly interested in the written word. And I think great movies are synergistic. It requires great writing, great producing, great directing. You need all of those key people involved from the very beginning. Yeah. Once you have them, you hire anybody you want, but the people that you hire after that will know that, okay, we're doing something. I need to contribute.
You know what? And even though I enjoyed Army of the Dead, Rob, I do feel that. I do feel like there was a lot of things that I felt like he could have really, just kind of wrote more of. I really enjoyed Dave Bautista's character. I enjoyed a lot, some of those crazy, wild characters, wacky characters that he had, and I wanted more. And and I did feel that watching that film. Now that you mention it, I did.
Exactly, and we're not going to get it again. I mean, that's the sad part, is that we're not going to get that movie again because it didn't make any money. So, what are you going to do?
Unfortunately, we'll see what happens with his. I think it's like a prequel film that he's doing about.
Like he's doing a Peacemaker TV series, so that's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's that. Was that HBO? It's gonna be on HBO.
Yeah, HBO Max.
Yeah.
Well, listen, kids, boys and girls, I need to go to bed. Even though we've had technical difficulties, I need to go to bed, so I'm frosty tomorrow. Is coming back. We've got guests, maybe or not. We'll just talk to Dave Parker because I'm still listening to the Maiden album. It's fucking rad as fuck. Yeah. By God, that new Iron Maiden album rules. Just saying. I'm just saying.
And there's a new Metallica album. We gotta talk about that.
Where a bunch of different artists do like covers of the songs. It's fucking incredible.
53 covers, collaboration, everything you can imagine, demos, everything. And we got to talk about that tomorrow, Robert.
I'm halfway.
Well, we will.
Album, and it's fucking amazing. I'm halfway through that.
Elvis, I love your Mandalorian shirt, and best of luck with you and your lovely lady. And please let us know if you get engaged. We definitely want to follow up on that story.
By the way, the thing is, Elvis, if you don't get engaged, there's many people that are watching this channel right now that will move in and steal you from her. Just so you know, make good. I'm just saying. Like, think about Yoda's advice.
Never his mind on where he was, what he was doing.
I appreciate the advice as well. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
I'm just saying, man.
I'll definitely make good on that. I'll make good on that.
He's thinking, this wedding will cost $38,000. I can't just say yes. I feel you, man. I feel you.
Well, it's like I told you at your house, man. In my culture, her family pays for it.
Yeah,
So there's
but
that.
that's yeah, well, that'd
Even
be
I would
cool.
elope
But
if you have to. Even
I
elope,
would.
Elvis, if you have to.
I also said I would never. I would never. Of
here's
course,
the thing:
of course, I would never
just
put that
roll
on
in
the
and
family.
the plan to propose. They'll be, oh no, you're the groom. You don't have to propose.
But seriously, Elvis, even
Maybe
elope
I'll
if you
dress up
have
like
to.
Michael Myers. No,
And
yeah,
you can
yeah.
always come home and celebrate with the family another time. But, trust me, this is such a different world now. Please, my advice to you is go for it and enjoy your life.
No, of course, yeah, and I think that the number one thing that I want to make sure is that we are at a steady place where we're both gonna be ready. Even
Hmm.
though that even though she was also getting on my case and Rob was teaming up on me with her and she was saying, "Yeah, where's my ring?" I know that in reality she knows that she needs to be at that place too when she's ready to. And
Yeah, it's true.
you know what?
But
Yeah.
you know what? Every woman wants a great ring. You can never go wrong. And by the way, if you bought a ring, it means you showed foresight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
If you were
Yeah.
if you just buy a ring and plan to give it to her, well, honey, I'm on the elephant shooting range. Here's a ring. Marry me. Your wife's gonna be like, what the fuck is this? I mean, remember when you propose to your lady, you're also proposing to the rest of her family. Whether
Yeah.
it's right or wrong, I understand.
Well,
Just
thank God
make
I
it
get
good.
along with her family because that would be awkward.
Well,
I don't
Elvis,
know,
thank
man. I mean, Tony Long. I wish I could hang out with him for the rest of my life. Swear to God.
Who wouldn't?
Elvis, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I appreciate that, guys, and hopefully in the future we can have another conversation.
Absolutely.
Oh no, we
Yeah.
will. I can
Hmm.
guarantee you, we
Absolutely.
will.
Yeah. All right, Rob.
All right, man. All
Appreciate you
right, kids.
guys. Bye, Miss RM.
Take care, Elvis.
Yeah.
I don't know why we had technical difficulties in the stream, but I think I'm going to cut this short only because, man, I have to go to sleep. I'm
You
so tired.
too.
I have to cut more promos and all that.
Hmm.
Needs to go to sleep, but I want to thank everyone that's supporting the channel. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, we'll start earlier, maybe at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Wouldn't that be
Really?
great? Like, why not?
Yes.
Let's just plan on doing an early midnight metal. We're
Yay!
gonna start 9 p.m. tomorrow.
Yes.
9 p.m. We're gonna party like rock stars. I'll play like
And Dave Parker was in the chat tonight, so hello, Dave Parker.
yes, Dave Parker. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. So I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank my blue wrenches. I want to thank all my entire moderation staff. Let me just
Yes, the
delve in.
Richard Bunyan.
Yeah, Bunyan Snipe, the Richard Stomach Shave. You're not a anyway. You're just a part of the Post-Geek Singularity. So thank you all for being here. Bunyan Snipe from the UK. Thank you. I'm sorry this was a weird night. He still shows up. Bunyan Snipe and the Richard, thank you both for being blue wrenches. And on that note, all of you who've sent in super chats or tips,
We will cover
tomorrow
them.
night, we'll go through
Yeah.
them tomorrow night.
Yes.
I promise. Don't think. And by the way, we have stuff to go through from last week. People fired
Yes,
off.
we.
And don't think that we are remiss. We will answer those questions tomorrow night, and it will be amazing.
See you then.
Yes. So, kids, we're going away. It's going to be wow. It's a 1 hour and 50-minute midnight metal with a little problem in between. But tomorrow night, we'll be here. Dave
Yes.
Parker will be here. All kinds of crazy people will be here. And midnight metal people are lining up. They're like, "Please, sir, can we have some more midnight metal? I'll be on it." I'm like, "Well, okay, but as long as I don't have to talk to your agent." No, you don't. Okay, great, fantastic. Because there's no whatever. So anyway, kids, remember, every person you meet, say it with me now, has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. Oh, I think Rita froze. I'm glad, it's crazy. So really what I meant to say was, every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen. And with that, I would say to all of you, have a better day. And I promise this fakakta ridiculous stream will be far more planned tomorrow. I promise. I swear to God. Otherwise, put a bullet in my brain pan. Make me die out. I say that to all of you. And on that note, I would say this. Well, I don't have to. I've said it all. Thank you for being here. I will see you all tomorrow.